Dear God, it's Jason Bourne. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to the Bourne Identity. This is a donation reward from Venom, but more importantly, well, equally importantly, it is the first movie of our July movie week. That's right, for those who don't know, at the end of every month, except for October and December, we have a movie week where every day of the main week, Monday through Friday, we do a different movie reaction. And we kind of keep a theme each month, and this month's theme is the Bourne movies, because there's 5 of them. There's 5 Bourne movies. It just fits perfectly, and so we're doing those for this month. All the movies were actually donation rewards from Venom, so thank you, Venom. And let's talk about this. So, what I know about Jason Bourne is, I believe this is Matt Damon, right? And I know it's like this action thriller, I think spy movie? I think he's a spy. But other than that, like, I don't know, like, what the actual plot of these films are. I don't know who else is in them. Because I never was really that interested. When these were coming out, like, this movie came out in 2002. I was 10 years old when this came out. I didn't want to watch a movie like this. I wasn't interested in this. And because I never really got interested in this, I never got interested in any of them. And I just never, once I started watching action movies more, never went back and decided to check these out because I had already not had an interest in them. So it's one of those series that I've just never even considered checking out, that I've never really given much thought to, and I've never paid attention to anyone talking about it. So I have, like, no real knowledge on this outside of just the general basis, and, you know, I've seen some memes. So I don't really know what to expect from them. I know the series is popular enough. I don't even really know how popular, though. Because it's like with some movie series, it's like, oh, this is really big, this is a huge series, it's gotten a lot of attention. And with this, it's just like, I know it's popular, but I just don't know how popular. I don't know, like, how much attention it's got, because I've really never paid any attention to it. So I'm not sure what I'm getting into here. And I've said it before, say it again, I like that. I prefer to go into movie reactions or any reactions as blind as possible. And while I'm not, like, completely blind, I'm pretty blind on these compared to, like, some other older movies that I've checked out that I've known at least some stuff about. So we're going to get into this, but before we do, I do want to also mention that at the end of the week, I will be announcing what the August movie week will be. I will not announce it before then, so you'll just have to wait and see. But normally with these movie weeks, I do, like, also keep secret what each of the movies in the week is going to be. This time, there's no real secret with that. It's just going to be each of the 5 Bourne movies in order. So it's like, that part's no secret this time. But I'm interested to get into this anyway, so let's get this started and see what this is like. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, I looked some stuff up, and a little bit of a fun fact for you. This movie was actually in the works since 1988. They had been, like, trying to adapt this since, 81, actually. Sorry, not 88. They had been trying to adapt this since 81, and in 88, they actually came out with a television movie starring Richard Chamberlain as Jason Bourne. Which I didn't know about. I had no clue there was a television movie produced prior to this series. I assume, like, there's probably other books in the original series, and that's why it continues after this, because this feels like a one-and-done movie. Like, with the way this ends and everything, with how it just goes, it feels like you just do not need anything more. It feels like a one-and-done, single-story film that just completes itself in this first movie. So the fact that there's more after this is almost confusing to me, but it feels like it's also one of those cases where, oh, we had something good here, we have to continue. We have to make more. We have to come up with some bullshit reason why there would be more. Because there's no reason for there to be more. There really isn't. But this movie is okay, I would say. My big thing with this is that it has a lot of issues with its dialogue, its writing, and a lot of the actors. The actors that you would expect to be really good in this, you know, the big stars of this, are really good. Every other actor in this feels so off, and I don't know if they were new actors at the time. I don't know if they just... I don't know. I don't know what the reason is, but they felt very off. They felt like there was, like, their performances were kind of hamming it in. And they just didn't, like, speak or act naturally. And some of it was absolutely the dialogue. Some of the dialogue was, let's be honest, not good. Some of the dialogue, some of the writing felt very off. There were also a lot of super awkward scenes that just didn't really make a lot of sense to me. And a lot of awkward scenes that were just like, let's be honest, we're there to fill out time. There's, like, one scene in particular, I don't remember exactly what was happening in the context of it, but Marie and Jason were talking in the car, and then they just pause for, like, I don't know, a good 10-15 seconds. They're just sitting there, saying nothing, doing nothing, and it's just like, why? Why? Just why? That's so awkward. And not even in, like, in a good way. Like, sometimes you can have awkwardness in movies, like, be used to push the story forward or to develop the characters further. But an awkward, like, 10 to 15 second pause like that, it just felt really off, and it felt like I was, like waiting for the scene to continue. It didn't feel natural at all. I do like the idea of this starting with, like, the character having amnesia and having to piece everything together, and by the end, it's like everything is revealed, everything is figured out. I like the idea of that. I feel like it's been done before, but it was done pretty well here. I feel like I have no issue with that aspect of things. And I enjoyed, I guess you could say, the overall action vibes of it all. I liked the choreography. I liked when it, like, really delved into those action scenes. The pacing was very slow, though. This movie was, like, near 2 hours long. It really could have been cut back by quite a lot. There was a lot of things in here that felt needless. Like, oh, we're gonna have like what was it, 3 or 4 different assassins all going after him at different times, on top of just everything else happening. It just felt like they were adding stuff in, and if this is how the book goes, okay. But the difference here is when you have a book being adapted to a movie, you have to cut some things out. It's a requirement because you can't adapt everything in a book to a single movie adaptation. It's just not possible. It's also just not smart to even try because then you're overstuffing things into too short of a time period. And this kind of goes for any kind of adaptation. When you're adapting something, you have to make changes to fit the medium. And a single movie, especially adapting a whole book, you're going to have to make changes. You're going to have to cut some stuff out. And it feels like they just try to do too much here. Like, 2 hours in and of itself is not bad in terms of a movie's runtime. I've seen movies way longer than that. But I've also seen movies way longer than that are paced properly for what they have. This just felt like it was just dragging at points. There were certain moments that just felt like, okay, this is just adding to the length of this. This has no other real use. And it felt like it went on like 20 minutes too long. You could cut out 20 minutes of this and it would still be, it would honestly probably be better. I I think the satisfaction in this movie does come from him finding out who he is and choosing to leave that world behind. The final like kill being, his ex-boss, that felt kind of unnecessary. I guess it goes with the idea that if he wasn't killed, he would have kept going after them. But he was also killed by an assassin who was sent by the other guy at the CIA. So it wasn't even Jason who did it. Sorry if you hear that outside, by the way. Someone's doing some lawn work next door. But yeah, it's like, it wasn't satisfying because Jason wasn't the one who took him out. It wasn't satisfying to see that guy be killed anyway. It's like, we didn't hate him or anything necessarily. The movie didn't make us feel like satisfied or excited to have him be taken out in the end. And for the character who is basically your main antagonist in the entire movie, it just felt underwhelming in that regard. Marie is one of the characters who I felt like, I don't know how much she had done before this, but she felt like she was very green in terms of her acting ability. And it's like, she wasn't bad. There were others in this that were much worse. The one assassin that he finished off in the tall grass and everything, the one who was coming after them at Eamon's house, he was not a good actor. I'm sorry. Like, when he was being quiet and silent and, like, stalking them, basically, he was fine. But when he actually started to act, actually started to speak and everything, it's like, oh, God, you should have stayed silent. Why did they have you have an actual voiced role in this? And he can't act. He can't act that well. He's not, like, terrible. He's not the worst I've seen. But, like, comparative to, like, Matt Damon, it's just like, no. Also, I wish Walton Goggins was more important to the film instead of just some random tech guy. But, that's just something that I wish had been done a little differently. His role was, like, he did good in his small role, but it was a small role, and I just wish he had a bigger role. I feel like I liked the first part of this movie more than the second. Like when we were at like the embassy and whatnot, when we're like really starting to learn things, and when Marie is like getting involved in everything. I felt like that half of the first half of the movie was a little more interesting and a little more investing. The second half, it started to become too much action and too much intensity. It's started to like kind of it started to become a little bit much for me. And it's like I understand it's an action movie. It's an action thriller. It's going to have a lot of action. It's going to have a lot of intensity. But I just feel like it lost the charm. The first part had more charm and wit to it, while the second half of the film was more just about the action, just more about the excitement. The only big exception was the sequence at Eamon's house. That was one of the better sequences in the movie for sure. But it still felt it still felt like it would have been almost better earlier on in the film, I guess is a way to put it. But I also think that by the point we got to that, I was also feeling a little burnt out from it. Because again, it's just so long and so slow. I just kind of was like wanting it to get to the point and finish up at that time. So yeah, it's not a bad movie by any means. It's just it needs polish. And I feel like with the fact that this franchise, this series of films, did keep going, I feel like they're probably going to get better in terms of that polish. Um, oh, um, oh, I can't remember the character's name. Hold on. I should still, yeah, I still have the thing up. Let me check the cast here. Wambosi. Um, Outside of just being the, initial job that Jason Bourne had taken on, what was the point of Wombosi's character? Like, he didn't add anything to this. It felt like they were trying to make some kind of like commentary on things with him, and it didn't amount to anything. And he ends up being killed off in like the least satisfying, most underwhelming way possible. He just felt like he was an absolutely needless part of this to actually, make into a character. They could have had him just be this background thing, and have it explained later on that, oh, this was your initial goal. You failed at this. Clearly things went wrong. And then explain at the end how that happened still, why Jason abandoned his mission, and why he ended up getting shot and losing his memories in the first place. They didn't. The problem is they tried to make him into more of an actual character after that. Tried to keep bringing him back a couple times. And it's like, that felt unnecessary. Stop trying to make him matter. You know? Because in the end, he didn't matter. Outside of just being like... It's weird for me to say, because usually I wouldn't advocate for this. But I feel like Wombosi's character should have remained a plot device. Because by trying to expand him into a full character, they failed at it. Because they couldn't give him enough time. There was no way to give him enough time. There was no way to make him have enough of a character without taking away from anyone else. And so they just didn't. They just didn't give him character. And I don't know if this is how it's done in the original book. I don't know if he had more of a role in the book. I don't know. But in terms of this movie, he felt pointless. And just, he shouldn't have been, like, they shouldn't have tried to give him a bigger role like that. It just felt like a waste of time. But yeah, overall, this movie was just okay. I've seen worse, but I've also seen a lot better in this kind of action thriller, spy drama kind of situation. But I do hope the rest of them get better. I do hope the rest of them like improve on certain factors, and hopefully by the end, I'll really enjoy this series overall. But for the time being, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of the Bourne Identity? And thank you as always so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.